Hey everybody, how are you today? Just gonna bring up my tablet here, make sure I'm on the right page. I have been known to do that. So I got in my celebration suite transfers today. They literally came in just a few minutes ago. Hey Devonna, how are you? And they literally just came in just a few minutes ago. And they deliver them up front, and then I get a notice, and I have to go get them. So I got notified by my app that my transfers were in, and then before they could even come and let me know, I was going up front, and they all were just, "You're so fast." I said, "I am a stalker." My stuff came in, and I'm excited. We're going to do a project today. So I am going to do a layering technique. I'm good. Good. I'm glad you're well. I caught a couple of your lives. I watched the replay. Amazing. So I got these in, and I'm going to mix and match a couple of transfers today, and I'm going to do a little bit of layering. So as you come in, just say hello. If you have somebody that might be interested, send them my way. Again, my name is Nikki Godwin, if you haven't caught one of my lives before, and I'm a master mentor with Couture. I've been with the company for a little over a year. Oh, thank you so much, Tavana. I've been with the company for a little over a year. Hey, Valerie. And I have, I started back in January of 2018. I was looking for some DIY stuff. I love to craft that I could do myself. And reuse some surfaces, because I travel with my husband, as you could tell from the camper behind me, that I have limited space. So I needed something that I could find that would really kind of be useful for me in a small space, and this company had just checked all those boxes. So I was really lucky, and I found them. Watched some videos, got my stuff in, and just jumped in right away, fell in love, and it's been nonstop ever since. Oh, thank you. This has been such an amazing opportunity for me. It has its highs and lows. You know, not every project turns out all the time. But the beautiful thing about this is if you don't like it, thanks for sharing, Devonna, you could just wipe it off and do it again. If you're not using a reusable surface, and even if you're using a single-use surface and you don't like it, just paint over it. Hey, Liz. So today, this is not my design. I happen to be scrolling through the Facebook this morning, and I saw another designer do this, and I absolutely fell in love with it. It's my two favorite colors. It's actually what my bedroom is done in. Oh yeah. Oh, cake. Who doesn't love cake? Oh my gosh. Girl, I'd be as big as a house. I have a serious sweet tooth. But thanks for tuning in today and watching me. I appreciate it. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get started. I'm going to be using one of our new. This is called one of our chalk stories. So it has several different transfers in various sizes that all go together. And you can mix and match them with each other. So I'm going to be doing this one today, but I'm going to be using our modern florals, and I'm going to be using it on our box frame. Now this is a wood frame. It is a single-use surface, but like I said, if you mess up, just paint over it and start all over. Doesn't matter. It's easy to do. Nothing's permanent, right? Crafting's not about being perfect. All right, so let's get started. First thing I'm gonna do, when you're using a wood surface and you're using Couture, you wanna make sure that you wax your surface. And I don't know that I've actually waxed on camera before. And I may not even be able to get this open because I was spraying water, cleaning off my counter earlier, and I think I got some on here. Hopefully I will be able to get this open. It's live TV. Of course I can. Hey Gav. Oh no. Let's see. I have fingernails, so I can't get it. Maybe he can. Can you reach your hand in here and pull this lid off? Hold on. I got it. Yay. Okay. So this is what I use to wax my boards. This is just Johnson's paste wax. I have a rag that I got from Home Depot. Who knew? They sell them by the bulk over there. I'm just going to put some wax on my little t-shirt here. And then I'm just going to go over this surface And all this does is help coat the wood surface so it doesn't peel up. It looks like it's got a whitewash finish on this. So it doesn't peel that up, and so that it doesn't, you don't get splinters or wood pieces on the back of your transfers. Since they're reusable, sometimes that can happen. It helps to release your transfer easier. Doesn't take but just a few minutes. So I just put it on, and then I usually let it sit. So as we're, hey Candace, so as we are going on and doing stuff, I'll just let this sit, and then I'll buff this off right before I start to do my project. So this paste can be a little strong, so if you're gonna use it quickly and then close it back up, because whew, it's a lot. Okay, so now I'm going to make sure that my paste is the right consistency here. I'm going to be using a couple of different colors today. I'm going to be using the Fresh Linen. I think this is called Cool Breeze, and our black. And I'm going to do the flowers on the bottom first. And I'm going to do those in this Fresh Linen. And it's just a really light, simple gray. This light is kind of bright in here, so I'll move it closer so you can see. Now our paste is non-toxic, it's water soluble, so that means that it goes on wet and it dries hard. So as you are doing this, it's going to dry a little quickly, and if it's not the right consistency, it'll dry faster than you want it to. So if you have open paste, like you've used it before, just like regular paint, it can tend to dry out a little bit, but the best thing with our product is if it gets a little dry, you can just simply spritz it with a little bit of distilled water. Use our little stir sticks right here, and then you can just add that water or reconstitute it back in just by stirring it up really well. And it also helps to mix up those natural pigments into your paste. It should have the consistency of sour cream or cake batter. That's how you know you've got a really, it's thin enough that it's going to go through that silk screen, but not so. Thanks, Candace, for sharing. Oh, thank you so much, Savannah. If you, let me get this stirred up. So if it's too wet, it'll bleed underneath that transfer and it'll run. But if it's too dry, then it'll lift up with your transfer. So you want it to be where it's runny enough so that it goes through that transfer easily. And you're just gonna push that through there with one of our squeegees. So I'm going to start working on this one. So I'm gonna buff this off now. And all this does is, like, again, it makes the surface really, really smooth and easier to use. Okay. Got that on there. Let me toss this aside. I'm in a camper, so it's limited space, so y'all will see me toss things often. So I've got one of our fuzzing cloths, and a lot of times you'll hear us say that we're gonna fuzz the back of the transfer, and that's because these silkscreen transfers are reusable. You can reuse them 8 to 10 times, just depending on how well you take care of them. But not to worry if you forget everything I say and you've ordered something, because every transfer comes with instructions right on the back that tell you exactly how to take them off, apply them, use the paste with them or our ink, and how to clean them and store them so that you can reuse them over and over again. Okay, so now that I have this off, I think I'm gonna have to catty corner this transfer. It's a really big transfer, and these are sometimes can be a little difficult to handle. So it's always easier, and I learned this on a live, and it was actually one of my customers that said something to me. It's easier to flip it over on the back and do it upside down and lay that flat. I'm just gonna put this in my lap as I fuzz this, than it is to try to maneuver this when it's upright. So now that I have that on here, I'm just gonna take this cloth and I'm gonna fuzz it. All that means is that we're adding a little bit of lint to the back of this transfer. And actually, I can see the camera, so if you guys have questions, just drop them below. I'm actually far enough away from the camera that I actually cannot see very well what you're saying. I kind of have to lean forward. So if you see me squinting, that's why. Hi, Michelle. If I miss saying hi to anyone, I'll come back and do that in just a minute after the live when I can get close enough to where I can see, because apparently my eyesight's going. Okay. So now that I have that where I can have got enough lint on here, I'm going to do it one more time just to be safe, because I'm probably going to do the middle. I'm going to kind of catty corner this and try not to let it fold over on itself so it sticks together. So everywhere that you guys see that is plain is actually got a silk screen through it, similar to the screen printing that they used to do for t-shirts. It's along the same lines as that, and it's really, really easy to do. It's really easy to work with. One of the, like I said, one of the best things about this is that these are reusable, and there's no weeding like there would be with a Cricut. Not to say that the Cricut doesn't have its appeal and its purpose, because it does, but you know, with this, it's got a lot less prep time, I guess you would say. Okay, so I've got this on here. I've got this kind of going catty corner. I know I want roses kind of in the middle of each side. So I'm just gonna tuck this silk screen down here and do it so that I make sure that I'm getting really good contact on this board. I want it to go all the way down. So what I'm doing is I'm smoothing out the air bubbles onto this wood surface. And I put this backer sheet underneath here so it doesn't stick to my counter, so it's easier for me to manipulate the transfer. Now I'm gonna have something on top of this, so it really, to me, it doesn't matter if it's absolutely perfect, because I'm gonna have a focal point that is not this actual design. But everywhere that's green is your adhesive. That's how these are so crisp, clean lines, because you've got so much of that adhesive that's actually running through the design. You can get a really, really good contact. Oh, thank you, Valerie. And it is, I mean, they're just amazing. I love being able to reuse them, repurpose them into different designs. All right. So now I've got that pretty much where I want it. Make sure I get those corners really good tucked in there, and I'll try to pick it up and show you guys. Hopefully I won't flip it over. There we go. So that is my goal, is to have that design in that box frame. So these are a textile. They're a silk screen. I can't remember if I said that or not. It's all blending together. I tend to ramble on and chatter, so like I said, if I've missed anything, just ask. All right, so we're gonna start with a fresh linen, and I'm going to use one of our squeegees. This is a, I think I'm gonna use our angled squeegee, since it's a much larger surface. These are just a soft silicone with tapered ends. They're made this way so that they won't damage the silk screen as you're using them and applying this, this paste. All right, so I'm just gonna glob this on into different sections of this design, because I'm gonna be doing the full design. And it's just easier to move that across the board. All right, so now that I have that on here, I'm gonna take the larger edge here and use that to move this across my surface. I'm gonna try to get as close to the edges as I can. I do see air bubbles in here that I missed. So I'm hoping that because of that, it's actually gonna end up being peeled off in a couple of different areas, and it's gonna give me more of a vintage look. You'll have gray in some areas, it'll be chipped in some areas and things like that. So I think that will actually turn out looking really well. And with this angled squeegee, there's so many different sides that you're able to flip this squeegee around. It's got some small pointed edges, so you can really get into this, get into the corners. Now, I've got that on there, so I'm just scraping off this paste and putting it back into my jars so that I can reuse it, because I don't want to waste any. These jars typically last for the average crafter about a year. Now, I craft a lot more than the average crafter, so I typically go through mine about every, I would say about every 4 to 6 months, I go through a jar of paste. So if you're looking to make finished products that you can sell yourself, that's about the time frame that you're gonna go through a jar. But it all just depends. Really, you use your black and your white paste more than anything else. So I'm just gonna scrape this off. Now, I am getting this all over my fingers. So I'll have to clean myself up before we go on to the next project. Otherwise, I'll get paste everywhere. But like I said, it's non-toxic, so you don't have anything to worry about on that aspect. All right, I think I've got pretty good contact on there. Devonna is leading the charge for me on here. Thank God for her. She has her own business as well. She does the reveal party. She does pearls. So Devonna, post your link. Feel free. And if y'all are interested, make sure you check her out. Okay, let's lift this up and see what we got. Perfect. Now I got some that is gone up on the sides of the frame, and that's fine. I can always use a wet cloth and get that off, and I'll do that later. Let me put this to the side real quick. So I'm actually in my kitchen, and I have just a tub of water in the sink over there, so I'm just adding that to the sink so that that paste does not dry on the top of that silk screen transfer. All right. Let me see if I can clean my hands up. And then I will show you guys. See how pretty that turns out? You've got just a shadow of that fresh linen. Gives you just a real pretty shadow of the flowers. And then I can go back and just use a Clorox wipe and clean up this frame of where I got it into other places. And that's what I'm doing now. And I'll show you guys this one right here. So right there, let me see if I can turn it this way. It was all right here, so I just use that and it just wipes off. So it's really easy to fix that mistake. So for the skill level for this project, it really is a beginner type project. It just makes it really, really easy to use, and you don't have to worry about whether you can paint or not. If you can scrape peanut butter and jelly on a sandwich, you can certainly do this. Hey, Nicole. So that's about the skill level that it takes, because it's about the skill level I have, to be quite honest. I love to craft. I'm just not always good at it. So but I'll try anything once, that's for sure. All right, there we go. Now I can do the whole other side, but I'm just gonna blow dry this real quick and we're gonna move on, because I know y'all don't wanna watch me cleaning up a mess. So I'm just gonna dry this real quick. I just just use my hair dryer. I know a lot of other people use a heat tool, and you can certainly use that as well. For me, a blow dryer works just as well. Okay, now that I have that done, I'll move it closer so you guys can see. It does tend to darken up for this color after you dry it. So you can usually tell. I've missed you too, Nicole. You can usually tell when you have when it's dry. You'll be able to run your fingers across this, and it won't smudge, it won't smear, and it won't come off. So it's really easy to use and dry very quickly. Okay, so I'm gonna actually grab that. I'm gonna grab the wax again, because I'm going to go right over this same design, and I don't want that to lift. So I'm just gonna lightly add a little bit more wax on top of this so it won't pull up this chalk paste when I put another design on top of it. All right, so now I'm gonna decide which part I want to be the top, which part I want to be the bottom. I think the area that I haven't cleaned up yet, I'm gonna let that be the bottom. So it's gonna be actually like this. All right, so we're gonna move on to the next part, and I'm gonna use the new transfer that I got today, this Chalk Stories. All right, so let's see. All right, so I'm gonna use the flowers down here. That's the one that I'm gonna use. So when you get, this is a C size transfer. When you get this transfer in, it's going to have a cut line on it, which is gonna tell you the exact spot that you can cut, that you know it's not going to go into your silk screen. It's a kind of the safe zone, I guess you would say. So it is actually right here in the middle. I'll show you. Move it closer. Right there. That's the cut line. So I'm going to cut that apart. Okay. I'll set this other part aside. And this is going to fit perfectly right into this board. And this is one of our box frames. You can get it on my website, and that is chalkcouture.com/chalkingwithnikki if you're interested. All right. I'm going to fuzz the back of this. So when you lift these transfers off, because they are fabric, you want to make sure that you're either pulling from top to bottom or from side to side, never corner to corner, because it'll stretch against the bias. And you don't want to have that happen, because it'll actually distort your image in there. So you're just lifting straight up from the transfer backing. You're not peeling it where it's bending so that actually curls it. It's just a straight pull that you're lifting. And then the really shiny side is the side that the transfer goes back on. So save your backings, because you can use those over and over again. Y'all, I need to take down my Easter stuff. I am behind the times. And we're actually coming into the perfect time that I actually love for decorating, because it stays up the longest. So summer and 4th of July, I love decorating during those times because I can leave my stuff up for months because I'm lazy. So that is, I'm tickled that I can do that. And there is so many cute transfers that we have in this new catalog for the summer. I have so many projects in my head. It is crazy. Plus I have a vendor show coming up and I need to make some finished product for that as well. So y'all will probably get sick of seeing me, but that's okay. Just share it with your friends. Or come and join me at a workshop. That would be fun too. Okay, so now that I'm done buzzing the back here, I'm just gonna lay this down, just kind of center it. It's pretty much a perfect fit in here, so there's not too much you have to worry about as far as centering it. I'm just gonna try to make sure that I have it the right distance on each side. Okay. Then I'm gonna smooth it down again. Let me make sure I got it straight. And no, I don't have it straight. It's it's raised up on one side. How I can do that in a limited surface is beyond me, but I told you, I have a mad skills. Okay. I think I'm actually gonna just put it to where it's touching the bottom. Or maybe touching the top where I didn't cut it. One of them I cut. I think it was the top. So we'll line it up at the bottom. There we go. Now it won't be raised up on one side. Okay. Again, I'm just making sure that I've got all the air bubbles out of there before I get started on this because I don't want it to bleed through. All right, so I'm gonna work from top to bottom. We're gonna be doing two different colors. We're gonna be doing the this Cool Breeze blue, which is really, really a pretty, it's not a blue. It's well, I guess it is. It's just really, really light. It's kind of got like a little teal green in there. It's pretty much the same color I have throughout my entire house. I love this color. This is what my bedroom is done in, is the Cool Breeze and the gray. All right, I've got that mixed up. Now I need to make sure that I've got my black the right consistency. My black, I don't know what it is about my black. It just stays perfect every time. Maybe it's because I use it all the time and I'm always adding water to it, but it's always the perfect consistency. White and blacks are your most popular colors, of course, because typically your surfaces for chalkboard is black, so you're going to use white. Or if you're using our other boards, it's got a white background, so you typically use black. So those two colors are the ones that you use the most. Okay, so now we have got that. I'm going to move that away from me, and I'm going to use that for the bigger word flower, and I'm going to use a small squeegee, this size right here, and I'm going to do Fresh Market in black with the little lines, and then I'm going to do flowers in that Cool Breeze. This black is going to show up really pretty on this gray background. So when you go to put on your paste, it's more like you're pushing it through the silk screen. You're not necessarily using a soft stroke where you're painting it. It's a harder scrape that you're going through there. And when you go to scrape off your excess, just make sure you scrape until you see the design underneath the paste, and then you'll know that you have the perfect thin layer and you can lift that up. All right, so I'm actually going to peel as I go so that it doesn't dry on this transfer, and pull up as I am working. Okay. Just gonna make sure that I have really good contact down there. Let me dry this real quick before I lay this back on here, and maybe that will help where it doesn't bleed. Okay. Just gonna gently lay that back down there. Just make sure the word flowers is where I need it. And I'm gonna use our small squeegee for this one. It's a bigger surface, fits perfectly in our 3-ounce jars. It's got a tapered end so that you can really get that right drag across your project. Just gonna go across here and then and put that paste all the way across there, and then I'll come back and drag across it and lift up the excess. It's sticking really well, this transfer is, to this board, but it's also easy to remove, and I think that has a lot to do with that paste wax that I used. It seems to help a lot. So you definitely want to maybe invest in that. I have actually used a wood surface before that splintered on the back of my transfer, and it was really difficult to get off. That's why I like to wax. All right, I got that covered. Just gonna go across and scrape that excess, put it right back in the jar. All right, gonna hurry up and do the black. There's not a whole lot down there that needs to be left, so I'm not gonna lift that up, and I hope that it'll come off easily, but I did that pretty fast, so I think we should be okay. Let me just scrape that off, make sure I got all my letters covered there. There we go. Ooh, it's really pretty. Really pretty. All right. I will show you guys. What do you think? Move it closer so you guys can see. Hey, Jessica. Didn't it turn out so pretty? I am always so amazed every time I lift up these transfers and see how perfect these designs turn out. It makes me feel like a pro, and I'm really not. So every time I lift these transfers up, I'm always so amazed and feel like I am just a DIY champion. Thanks, Jessica. It turned out so good, didn't it? I love this. And you guys, don't think that just because this is just this side right here that you're gonna do one side and be done. Oh no, you can get 2 sides. I'm gonna totally chalk on this back side later so that whenever I am done with this design and I wanna change it up, I'll probably do maybe something either nautical, or I'll do 4th of July on the back of this, and I'll be able to flip this board around and then be able to use it again for another whole decorating season. So definitely invest in these because you can use them again and again, and they turn out so pretty. So pretty. I just love it. All right, you guys, make sure you post all your questions in the comment. If you're interested in joining my VIP group, just post that VIP in the comments, and I will be sure to send you the link for that. If you're interested in becoming a designer like me so you can jump on and do these fun lives and share your own projects, just comment info and I'll be glad to send you that info. I have a whole opportunity group that explains everything you need to know about joining the company. We have an amazing team. In fact, Jessica, who's on right now, is part of my upline. They have amazing training and they share that with everyone. So just make sure that you, if you're interested, put info in the comments and I'll get that out to you. All right, you guys, thanks so much for joining me today. Have a great day. Bye-bye.